All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to our next topic. We're talking about that for a little while. Bad boy. You got a topic for us?
Yeah. Sorry. Uh,
Welcome to the
Bad
show.
boy.
well, I didn't know you
Yeah.
were throwing that on me immediately. Okay, recently, I guess. Well, this wouldn't be recently when this episode airs, but a police officer, I guess, used excessive force on, I would say, a high schooler, which is a girl, and he got fired for it.
He did
Um,
get fired. Like that's the
yeah,
verdict.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
he got fired for it. His name was it was
Robert
Leon.
Paulson.
Yeah, sorry, Robert Paulson. It was Leon Lott. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Do you think if he should have been fired or not, or do you think the media just blew it out of proportion?
Can
Um,
you, for
I know.
those listening at the MP3 and watching on YouTube.com/Maelstrom Gamers channel, could you explain a little bit, like what had happened? So, because I'm sure what they're listening to, they want to know a little bit of what happened. Could you explain the story as to what happened?
Well, basically, when you start off, you see the video and you're like, wow. When I first saw the video, I was just like, because I'm not. I mean, you guys joke around and say I'm like the bad boy, I'm Cop Show's #1 fan or whatever like that, which I'm not. By the way.
It's just for those who don't know, like every time we play with Steve, he's got cops in the background, so we just assume he loves that TV show.
No, it's my wife. My wife loves that show and she watches that all the time. So, anyways, I was always, I guess I'm not really a big fan of cops because I think, but my view's kind of been changing a lot. But I just see that they use a lot of excessive force a lot of time. I think they're power hungry, all this other stuff. But then like it's just like same thing with people. You got good cops, you got bad cops, and everything like
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of good cops out there, and I'm realizing that a lot more. And the thing is too is like the whole thing with him. You don't know the other side of the story, really. Not a lot of people know the other side of the story. They don't really care about the other side of the story. They just see the video, and they just see him basically lifting a chair up. And if you watch the video, it's 10 seconds long. They have different point of views, but the one point of view that I watched where it basically he tried to get her out of the chair. She reached up, almost kind of looks like she hit him in the face a little bit to grab him, but she lost her balance, flipped over, and then she's still in the chair, and then he kind of throws her out of the chair. But she looks like she's moving forward too as well. So, I mean, I don't think he's that strong to like sit her and pick her up and throw her across the room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too is not a lot of people know what she was doing. They just said it was like a cell phone, that she was disturbing the class or something, and
Yeah.
they asked her to leave. So they called the cop on the premises, which was Leon,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked her to leave, and I guess she just refused or something like that. So then that's when the whole altercation started happening, as far as like them getting in a scuffle. But I just think that not a lot of people were getting mad in the classroom, like at the girl, like or at the cop, like saying, "What are you doing?" Like I think that if she really wasn't doing anything wrong, that they would have been more hype about it. They would have been more concerned of what was
Do you
going
think so?
on.
Because they're kids, and they might have just been frightened.
Well,
you know?
the teacher, I think, would have said something at least. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I just think that we're eventually teaching our kids not to listen to authority figures. Like, I mean, he asked her a couple times, stand up, let's go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she's just not moving at all. So like, I mean, you got the teacher who asked her to, go up to the office, and then you got the authority figure, the deputy himself asking too as well, and they're just denying it. You know what I mean? So it's like you got cops that are not going to want to take up professions anymore because they're going to be too afraid to do any of this anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to be afraid. They're going to make them second guess themselves, which can cost the lives of people. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to be like, well, if I shoot this guy, I'm probably going to be fired, but like he could have killed this other person. You know what I mean? Or, I mean, you got cops that like, I don't know. I mean, you don't know how excessive is too excessive unless you're there in the situation, because we only see part of a video. That's it in the media, and
You're
that
absolutely
keeps
right.
rolled over and over again. Like I think I saw one video where a cop ran over this guy. He was going like the cop was going really fast too. I first thought it was excessive too, but the guy was waving a gun around. He was heading to a gas station with a bunch of people around. I don't know, like, I'm sure he broke both the guy's legs when he ran him over, but like, I mean, people think that was too excessive.
Wow.
I mean, that's a
Is the
different point of view,
alternative
though.
is that he shoots a gasoline tank and takes out the whole station?
It could have been that too. You
You know what I
never
mean?
know. You never know. But that's why I said you don't know what too excessive is unless you're there in the situation. Because all you know is you see a video where this guy's just going 50 miles an hour, just poof, and the guy's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's also another case as to why police officers should be wearing a video camera at all times, because it's also for their protection.
Their
you know
protection.
what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know, Steve. To play devil's advocate, I ask, what's the alternative in that situation? Like what like
Well, they
a girl is disrupting a class that like they cannot finish the classroom. She will not leave. The protocol is to call a police officer, a security officer, to get her out. When she
Right.
refuses to leave on her own will, over the course of however X amount of minutes, X amount of hours, how do you get her to leave? Does everybody get out of the classroom and go to a new classroom? Does she follow? Like, how do you, like, and then you go into a real life situation where it's a cop pulling over someone. They don't have a license. Get out of the car. No. Get out of the car. No. Get out of the car. No. Okay. I have been taught by my station through my police training that if they refuse to listen to me telling them to get out of the car because they have disobeyed an officer, I now use force to get them out. So, I mean, I'm looking at it in that lens to play devil's advocate. Like, is the cop still in the wrong?
well,
I think it's the way he executed the force, right?
Okay.
Like, he could have. I mean, yeah, she was like slapping him. He could. I mean, he's twice as big as this girl, at
yeah,
least.
he's
right?
huge. Yeah.
He could easily grab both her arms and like keep them secured to her sides with
Right.
just his own strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I think, and then yeah, like Steve, you were saying, she looks like she might have tumbled back, and he
Yeah,
might
because the
not
thing
have
was
dipped underneath it.
he was trying to get underneath her arm. Looks like because
Right.
that's generally what they do. They get underneath the arm and they're just gonna pull him out of the seat. But she
Right.
pushed back, and then he looks like he lost control over her. And then, I mean, you're in the chair, so you're gonna fall backwards.
But
You
I
know
think
what
it's
mean?
the part afterwards where he.
The part
I
afterwards
watched the
is
video,
yeah,
and it does look like he throws her.
yeah, he
like,
does. That's
like
what that's
it's
what it
not
looks
like he has superhuman strength. He just like literally throws her because she's like this little stickish girl, you know.
yeah.
So I think that's probably what the issue was
Mhm.
with everybody, or like his police force when they decided to fire him, is that she's already on the ground. You don't need to like throw her anywhere, because immediately after he does that, he cuffs her. You know, he puts her hands behind her back and everything.
So now, Calvin is a college friend of ours who's now a cop here in Seattle. I get like we're friends on Facebook, and I see, I've picked his brain about stuff like this, and I've seen certain things he posts. And one thing that comes to mind during that exchange, and I agree with you, Alan, but the one thing that's kind of like making me think twice about it is that cops have to be really careful in a lot of situations because
Yeah.
like they are responsible
Especially
for
now.
taking. Yeah, they are responsible for taking, regardless of age, people like under their custody, right? Like to get very close quarters with them and make sure that they're detained. They don't know what the other person is capable of. We have school shootings. We have someone who could potentially be mentally stable. We don't know what they have in their pockets and their hands. These guys are real human beings. They're friends, their husbands, their fathers, their sons. When you get in that situation, regardless of how, I guess, innocent the person that they're trying to detain is, there's always that fear that that person could really harm that police officer. Now, that's where my brain goes to as to why he was very quick and probably what seemed a little sloppy and aggressive. But if he was more gentle, does he open himself up to be vulnerable to potentially be stabbed by this woman who is clearly upset and mad and irrational? So does he do the right thing in just getting her quickly down and throwing her in a position where he can quickly arrest her, because at this point he can't trust her at all?
Right. I mean,
But I still think what the cop's duty is to protect and serve, right? So like they are going into this job knowing that yes, there's a risk. Like they have potentially could be killed doing their
Right.
job, right?
Yeah.
So like still I think the protect and serve part is like they're serving their community and protecting them, right? So I don't think going to force first is necessarily like the right option in general. I think the police force training in general might be a little archaic in its practice.
And that's actually where I was headed. Where what you just said, Alan, is like, I don't know if it's really this guy's fault, right? He's been trained to act out this way. I actually start to question the facility's training and protocol and how to deal with these situations, really.
Because I think it seems like, based on all the videos that are viral these days, that they just go with force first. There's a video of this cop that got, I think it's I want to say it's South Carolina, but I might be wrong about. I think it's in the South somewhere. This kid is in. I think they said he's on a date and he's in front of a McDonald's. An unmarked police car with a guy in his civilian clothing. The cop with civilian clothing saw him maybe have like some weed or something in his car, and maybe like had been speeding. So he pulls him over, and immediately runs at this guy with his gun out. The cop in his civilian clothing runs at this guy in like the McDonald's parking lot or wherever. Runs at him with his gun. The kid in the car books it, like he just steps on his gas and he just tries to run out of the way, like get away from this guy, because like to him
it's just a guy
who
with
the hell
a gun.
is this guy? Like goes a gun, he's about to kill me. The cop shoots him and kills him
Oh my god.
as he's driving past, and he says it was self-defense because he was worried about getting run over. But if you watch the video, which was released recently, he's like in no danger at all. He's standing to the side, and when he shoots him, the autopsy said it went into his back and the back of his head.
Yeah, which is
like,
to say he's away from the cop,
and
driving away.
Nothing happened
Oh, yeah.
to the police officer from this.
Yeah, that seems very
So
messed
like,
up.
what was going through his head, or what kind of training would he have gotten where he would think it would be okay to approach a vehicle in plain clothing with his gun drawn? Like, nobody is going to be okay. If that had been like Texas, maybe the other person in the car could have just pulled out their own gun and shot him first.
Right.
Because like they're just like, oh my god, somebody's carjacking me. Like, who knows?
That was my immediate fear that you were going with that story. Because, yeah, I would absolutely understand why someone would be freaked out if a guy coming out at them with a gun. He has no badge. He's in civilian clothing. He's probably you're probably not even listening to the guy. The first thing you see is a gun, and you're hearing screaming. So you're like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Like, I'm out of here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
There's no way so, dude, good point.
And that's the thing, is like, that's why when you guys were saying everybody needs to have the police body cams, it's like we always see the viral video from somebody else taking the POV. So if we got the beginning of the altercation or whatever, not just when like this execution or violence happens, then we'll know whether something's justified. And then I think there needs to be better rules for prosecution of police officers, because I think they're far too protected by this idea that, well, they put their life on the line, so they're allowed to like not have the same rules as civilians. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, we're putting our lives on the line by interacting with them at any time.
It's good.
Based on how they have conducted themselves in the last like 5-10 years,
That's real talk. Because you're absolutely right, man. You're right. That's a really good way to put it.
I mean, you also don't know what's going on in the minds of these people. Like, it's just like, I guess I'd have to go back to like work. Like, I'm constantly catching shit from people all day, and I'm just like, I've had people like say like, that guy has no personality, whatever. That guy's an asshole. Like, people have said that like to other coworkers of mine, that to me behind my back, and I'm like, you don't know me. I'm catching shit all day from every person. I was like, so I'm constantly gonna think the next person's gonna give me shit. The next person's gonna give me shit. That's the same thing with cops. You don't know what they're dealing with the whole entire day. You don't know what they've dealt with in the past. You don't know what situation can just. I mean, because we're creatures of habit. So if like you see something over and over and over again, you're gonna think automatically it's gonna happen again. I'm thinking, as far as like, so I mean, you got cops that are probably unstable and that are just constantly see all the stuff. You don't know if he just lost a partner. You don't know if he's having problems with his wife at home. Like, do I think that cop used excessive force? Yeah, I think maybe he got in the thing and then he's like, all right, this bitch is probably like doing this. you know what? And then yeah, he used excessive force because like, how do you stay calm or
Yeah, you
in
be
that
having a,
situation? Like you're basically getting into a fight. You know what I mean? Then your adrenaline kicks in. You know what I
Of
mean?
course. But
yeah.
I feel worse for you, Steve, like having to be put into those kind of situations because that's not what your training involves, right? Like
No,
you don't
my
you
trainers
didn't
just sit there and take it.
yeah, basically, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean, essentially that is what it is and you're there to like, fill people's prescriptions and like help them get the medicine. That's like what is your job description.
Right.
Police officers are supposed to have that mental fortitude and they're supposed to be trained to interact with like all kinds of different people. That's in the job description that they're going to have to do that and it's not going to be easy. Like that's why not everybody's a cop. It's like hard work. It requires a certain amount of mental and emotional stability to be able to do that, and I think that a lot of these people that we see are not those type of people. So why are they being hired or why are they being on active duty? Those are the kind of questions that I think
Yeah.
everybody's wondering.
Yeah. In this particular scenario, though, I don't know if I'm sold on like the cops' alternative
I mean,
tactic. Like,
I don't.
I think it looked a lot worse than it was.
Right. And the
I
thing is,
Of course.
Yeah.
apparently he was a good cop. You know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
thing is like, just I guess all the recent events that happened, like that's why he got fired. Like, I mean, he didn't kill anybody. I mean, I guess they're saying that he could potentially kill somebody because he used the excessive force like that. But I mean, did she get hurt at all?
That's
Like,
what.
I don't
Yeah.
remember
Were there
reading that.
bruises? Was there
Like, was there?
hospital bills? Like,
I don't know. Yeah,
at the
that's the
same
thing.
time,
I think
you're
it
disrespecting multiple authorities. You're ruining a situation, like a federal situation, because this is a public school, I believe. So it's like
Yeah.
you're ruining like taxpayers' money. Like all these kids are not getting education because like the person is disrupting public affairs. I don't know. What do you expect to happen? You expect to be like given a lollipop and being like, "Let's get in the car." Like
I think it's
you're breaking the law.
I think it's gonna have to come down to that though, like as far as the cameras on cops, or they're gonna have to have another cop present at the time of the situation. Like, I mean, I guess if there was another cop there at that situation, they might have handled it a little bit more. They would have had a different outlook on the situation. But then they
And
got
what-
everybody with the cameras, like so, like
Well, you said that the teacher was there, the
the
professor.
teacher was there, yeah. So like,
What did he? I mean, they had to like interview
Yeah.
him. What did he say?
honestly, I guess I didn't read that part, but like I was just
Okay,
reading.
so she has a cast and she has neck and back injuries and she got rug burn on her forehead. So,
Okay.
I mean, a cast on the arm, assuming
pretty
it's
big.
broken, it's. I mean, that's usually when you get a cast.
Right. Even
Neck and back
hairline
injuries doesn't really specify. Could just be bruised muscles. She hit her back. She hit her neck when she fell.
fracture. Right.
That is potentially. I mean, I've seen videos of stuff like that where cops just like do a full like tackle onto somebody, and they either end up paralyzed or dead because of what they do. Like they hit their neck on the way down, or they hit their back on the way down, or they hit their head on the way down, and then it paralyzes them or it kills them.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I play devil's advocate all the time. Like I said, that cops use different forces on, because like I get pissed off at the cop show too, because I do watch it sometimes, and I'm like, look how they handle this guy, and look how they handle this guy. Now the situation, yeah, it is black and it's white. Like I've seen situations where a guy walking down the street on YouTube, they do like I think some kind of like racial test thing where this white guy is walking down the street and he has a giant AK on his side, right? And the other guy is his buddy, and he's filming it. And the cops, people are watching this guy walking down with the AK, so of course the cops get called. The cop lightly strolls out of his car, walks up to the guy, and just like starts talking to him. He's like, "Well, the white guy was like, I have a right to have this, blah, blah, blah." It's keep going off, and just spitting out a whole bunch of like law and everything like that. And the cop's like, "Okay, I understand, but why do you have it on your side?" He's like, "I just have the right to do it." Then they do the same thing with the black guy. And the black guy, there's like, not even kidding, 10 squad cars, a helicopter comes, freaking tells the guy get on the ground immediately, has their guns out, everything like that. Like, the guy's like even spitting out the same stuff the other guy's spitting out, saying like, I have the right to hold this and everything, and they just weren't listening to him at all, and it was just, it's completely different. I don't agree with that at all. You know what I mean?
Racial profiling.
Right. I don't, but the thing is like, why does that make it right though? It doesn't make it right, but I don't, just like I said, I'm playing different
I mean,
aspects of it.
Yeah, to that, I'm shocked. The cop went up to the white. I mean, like to be honest with
I've
you,
seen
Yeah, I gotta
videos
send you
like
guys
that.
the link.
I've
I
seen
gotta send
videos
you the
like that
link for that.
before.
It's
where they just walk up to like
Yeah, no,
I
it's this these guys like trying to instigate stuff. I mean, not it's not specifically this video, but I've just seen like dudes. It's usually white guys that are like just instigating cops like that, or like exercising their freedom or whatever, just to
fucking
be kind of dicks and like put a
yeah.
video on YouTube. And they'll like carry an assault rifle. It's like all obviously modded out and everything, and they're just walking around with it. And then they just like spout this shit about how they're allowed to do it and stuff. And they're like, yeah, okay, I get it, but like, what's the cops are always just like stunned. But I've never seen this video comparing it to when a black guy does it, because that
yeah,
is
it
they
was the
trouble.
exact same thing, and dude, and it was like it was crazy. Like I gotta send you the video, but
Going back to training though, like how does that cop feel comfortable walking up to that guy?
dude, he casually just did it, just like, and it was one cop. It was like actually it was a yeah, cop and his partner.
Like
Like
here's the
nobody else
situation.
showed up.
A guy's walking up and down a street with an AK. That is abnormal behavior.
Yes,
If I'm
very
a cop, I roll up, I open up my car door, and I stand behind it in anticipation that this guy could go off. And I
Right.
say, put the gun down and step away. Now, I have a right. You put the gun down and step away. I want to know why your behavior is so odd. Let's talk about this, because as a cop, I feel like that's the right of the cop. Like, he's got to figure out if this guy's insane or not.
Yeah.
Talk to him with the gun away. Okay. you can
What if
pick
he
up the
doesn't
gun,
put it
you're
down
fine.
though?
Then I feel like I feel like he had like to me that's insane to have a guy walk like abnormal behavior with an AK. You don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
A cop has the right to investigate in a safe manner and figure out if look. Even the cop could be like, look, I'm not gonna arrest you. I'm not gonna take your gun. I want you to step away from the gun. I want us to have a conversation. I want to figure out if you're okay first. Why you're doing this? I have the right to investigate the situation in a safe manner. Let's talk. And if the guy's unwilling to be reasonable, then something's got to happen. I don't know.
Right.
That's crazy to me. Like, if I was a cop, I'm not doing that. Like, that's nuts. I want backup. Like, white or black, I'm afraid. Because that guy
Right.
could just not like cops. And he could be trying to draw us out and then shoot. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean,
It's
they have to be kind of mentally unstable, right? To be doing that, like
Yes.
knowing that there's a chance that this cop could just be like one of those cops he's seen on TV and then just shoot
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like,
know?
that blows my... I'm more taken back, honestly, Steve, and this probably says something about our society, that the guy casually walked up to the white guy
yeah.
with the AK than what they did to the black guy.
I mean, it wasn't an AK. It was an AR or whatever, the assault rifle thing. Because I think it's illegal to actually have an AK. Oh no,
an AK is an assault
a
rifle.
full. But no, I bet it's fully automatic like
Oh.
Yeah, you can't have a fully auto weapon.
AK, I think. But yeah, I mean, you guys can just talk about this subject forever, but I just, I don't,
No, that's good
I
stuff.
don't know if he could be fired. I think we're teaching. Basically, I just think we're teaching our kids to basically like fuck cops, or authority figures and stuff like that, and basically just
I think some people do teach them
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I also think the reason none of the other kids reacted is because they've probably seen stuff like this a lot recently.
I guess people would be like, well, what if that was your kid? I'd be like, well, if that was my kid, then they
wouldn't be
would
doing that in the first
It wouldn't be
place.
doing that in the first
Yeah.
place, exactly. So I don't know, but I would say a high schooler, which is a girl, and he got fired for it.
Did get fired. Like, that's the...
Yeah.
verdict.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
he got fired for it. His name was it was
Robert
Leon.
Paulson.
Yeah, sorry, Robert Paulson. It was Leon Lott. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Do you think if he should have been fired or not, or do you think the media just blew it out of proportion?
Can you, for
I
those
know-
listening at the MP3 and watching on youtube.com/Maelstrom Gamers channel, could you explain a little bit... All right. Well, I'm gonna move on to our next topic. We're talking about that for a little while. Bad boy. You got a topic for us?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Welcome to the
Bad
show.
boy. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you were throwing that on me immediately. Okay, recently, I guess, well, this wouldn't be recently when this episode airs, but a police officer, I guess, used excessive force on
like what had happened. So like because I'm sure what they're listening to, they want to know a little bit of what happened. Could you explain the story as to what happened?
Well, basically when you start off, you see the video and you see you're like, wow. When I first saw the video, I was just like, because I'm not, I mean, you guys joke around and say I'm like the bad boy, I'm Cop Show's #1 fan or whatever like that, which I'm not. By the way.
It's just for those who don't know, like every time we play with Steve, he's got cops in the background, so we just assume he loves that TV show.
No, it's my wife. My wife loves that show and she watches that all the time. So, anyways, I was always, and if you watch the video, it's 10 seconds long. They have different point of views, but one point of view that I watched where it basically he tried to get her out of the chair. She reached up, almost kind of looks like she hit him in the face a little bit to grab him, but she lost her balance, flipped over, and then she's still in the chair, and then he kind of throws her out of the chair. But she looks like she's moving forward too as well. So, I mean, I don't think he's that strong to like sit her and pick her up and throw her across the room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Another thing too is not a lot of people know what she was doing. They just said it was like a cell phone, that she was disturbing the class. I guess I'm not really a big fan of cops because I think, but my view's kind of been changing a lot. But I just see that they use a lot of excessive force a lot of time. I think they're power hungry, all this other stuff. But then like it's just like same thing with people. You got good cops, you got bad cops, and everything like that. There's a lot of good cops out there, and I'm realizing that a lot more. And the thing is too is like the whole thing with him. You don't know the other side of the story, really. Not a lot of people know the other side of the story. They don't really care about the other side of the story. They just see the video, and they just see him basically lifting a chair up, and